Hey guys, welcome to Daddy's Money Garage. If you've been paying attention to our community tab that we just got up and running a few days ago, I made a post, it was a poll actually, asking what vehicle we should do a video on after the Jet video came out. The Jet update came out. Because we have a lot of stuff to do and just wanted ideas. And the overwhelming winner was my Sport Fury. And actually, that's kind of a surprise because the Grand Marquis video has done a lot better than the Sport Fury video, which is odd to me. Anyway, well, there's a bit of a problem. That night that I made that post, I was driving it home from Portland, and the throttle cable snapped. So I had to do something that I am just not proud of, and I had to put it on a tow truck because I couldn't fix it. It snapped right at the pedal, so I had no way to fix it. Parts are already ordered, and they'll be here on Wednesday. But unfortunately, there's not really much I can do on the car right now. But I want to hold to my word and bring up my favorite story about the car. And I hope you like stories. Don't let me waste your time. But this is a really good story. And I want to open it with, have you ever wondered what happened to a car that you loved dearly after it left your hands? Where it's gone, where it's been, is it still even around? I grew up hearing those kind of questions a lot because my family's been involved in cars for a long time. And I've grown attached to machinery, I anthropomorphize cars, which I guess we all do to an extent if you're watching automotive YouTube content. And and a couple years ago, I wanted to see if I could find the previous owner of the Plymouth. And I knew that the name on the title from, of the Plymouth, the man who owned it before me had passed away. And I had got it from a friend of the family who was selling it as part of his estate. And I figured that, this man must have had family around. This car must have meant something to somebody because they kept it this long. They kept it forever. And I really wanted to try to find his surviving family members and see if maybe they knew something about the car. And maybe it was somebody that, loves it as much as I do. So I did some digging on the internet, and I found his obituary. And in that obituary were some of his surviving family members. And I, just took a shot in the dark. I contacted one of them on Facebook, and I was like, hey, my name's Austin. I own this 1965 Plymouth Sport Fury that may have belonged to somebody in your family, maybe your father, who I don't know. And I just wanted to know if there was anything else about, if anybody had any kind of attachment to the car to let them know that it's it's still around, that it's still on the road. Maybe somebody's worried about it just as much as some of y'all might have been if you've had a car that you've had to get rid of. The first message I got back from this person was, "Oh my God, that was my first car." and I was like, wait, what? How do you know? And she said that the front plate that says Sport Fury on it, if you've seen it in previous videos, that's one of a kind. That was made specifically for that car by her mother for her 16th birthday. And it was still on the car when I got it. And she asked me, she was like, "Is there still a dent in the rear bumper?" And I was like, yes there is. There is still a dent in the rear bumper. And that is from when her mother had bumped into it while her dad was driving it. They live in a small town. This car came from a town called Adamsville, Tennessee. And I asked her, I was like, "Would you want to see the car again? I mean, I have no problem driving it out to you again if you ever want to see it again." And she said, "Yes, I would absolutely love to see this car again." And so I said, "Okay, we'll make some time to meet up." They were about 3 hours away, and I had just gotten the engine in the car. It was mechanically ready to go anywhere that I wanted it to. And me and Sabrina, my fiance, took the car 3 hours from Nashville, Tennessee down to Adamsville, and we met at the Shiloh War Battlefield Memorial, Civil War Memorial Battlefield, and we got there first, and the previous owner pulled up and got out. She was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I'm seeing this car again." And we sat and talked for a long time, and I learned that she had driven the Plymouth in the 1970s in high school, and about how they had packed tons of people in the car to go to like Sonic or the movies or anything, and the car was such a huge part of her life, and it was a huge part of that town. Adamsville is a small town. It never left. It was sold there, and it never left. And I took it from that town to Nashville. And once I knew that, and I had driven that car back there, I felt like it was like I was returning a piece of that town back to it, just for a little bit. Anyway, the story that I got from the previous owner was that she was the second owner. The owner before her had bought it brand new in 1965, and he drove it around for years and years. And she told me that his name was James, and I was like, "Oh, well, that's a coincidence because I have the original paperwork, and that's his name on it." I redacted the serial number and all that. That's just a piece of Scotch tape. I didn't write on the actual document, but so that pretty much confirmed exactly that there's no way that this could not be her old car. And he drove it. Mr. James drove it around town for years and years. And her father had seen Mr. James driving it around forever, and wanted that car specifically for himself. And one day, years after he had gotten it, the Plymouth had ended up in a used car lot right on the front row in the early to mid 70s, and the previous owner's father went to this car lot and bought it the day that it was out on the lot for sale, and gave it to his daughter, who was the previous owner of my car, as her first car to drive around in the 70s. And eventually, that car, the Plymouth, she replaced with a brand new Pontiac Fiero. And John would love that because that was his first car. He's got a Fiero, and there's a lot to do with that. But anyway, the reason that I bring this up is because there's just some cool stuff that I wanted to show you. One being that where is it? That when we met at the Memorial Park, she had something for me, and she gave me this picture. This is a picture of the Plymouth in 1981 when it was in its heyday, and I treasure this picture. This picture stays protected, and it's just a window to the past of when this car was really what it was, a big land yacht, comfortable car. And the back windows rolled down. They don't anymore. I wish they did. And then we got a picture together of how it is now. And I gave her a picture of the car that I took on Broadway in Nashville, Tennessee. And I framed it, and by this point I had changed out the lock cylinder on the Plymouth because it had worn out. And I took the original key that came with the car when I got it, and I put it behind the picture frame, and I gave it to her so that she could have the key back to that car. And it felt really good to answer somebody's question of where has my long lost love of a car gone, and where is it being taken care of. And I think that if you have one of these old cars, if you're my age or any age or anything, try to track down who owned it beforehand, because they may be wondering where it is, and they may want to know that it's being taken care of, because to car enthusiasts, these are more than machines. And you never know, maybe somebody who owned the car before you loved it just as much as you did and is wondering where it is. With that, I gotta go to the shop, and I gotta work on the Jet. like and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one.